All right, Arthur, g'day and welcome to Bumper to Bumper. How are you going?
I'm very well, mate. How are you?
I'm very good. Now, we're here at the Victorian Hot Rod and Cool Ride Show for 2018. It's going to be a 39-degree day with high humidity, but you've brought your HK327 Monaro here, so great that you brought it along. How long have you actually owned this car for?
I purchased the car, what was it, 2006. At 2004, I had some problems with my health. Took a couple of years to sort that out. We sorted it out. We came out the other end pretty well. And I remember my wife saying to me, honey, would you like to go around the world? And I said, no, what I would like to do is buy a Monaro and restore. And she goes, we refinanced what we had to do. And that's exactly what happened. I ended up joining a club. The search started and I bought it towards the end of 2006. In the early mid to 70s, first got my license, I had a Monaro. I had a HX Monaro, all hotted up, and used to do a lot of silly things with it. And sort of went out. You get married, you have kids, you get out of the scene all completely, and then it takes a life-changing event, I suppose, and you just want to come back to that. And I thought, you know, going around the world 3 months and looking at photos, as opposed to having something for the rest of your life in your garage. And she was very understanding and said, yeah, you got my blessing, go ahead and do whatever you like. I found it on an Australian muscle car. We had it verified by certain people, and it's the 211th Sydney car. So yes, and then the long resto started.
So when you first got the Monaro, what was the condition of the car in?
Look, it was the body was pretty good. It had a few things wrong with it. We had to go all the way up to Tamworth. I bought it from a gentleman up in Tamworth, Craig Foster, who had a few interesting cars.
Yeah.
And brought it down, and look, we just parked it up. We just put it in the garage and we said we're not going to touch it. And about 5 years later, as money allowed, we started the restoration. And when you're trying to do an authentic, original restoration, you will never ever get it 100%. You try and get as many original parts as you can, and it takes years. You can't just rock up in 3 months, you're going to get everything, you know, whether it's a new old stock aerial, whether it's the shroud, all these things. It takes years. So before I actually put things together, I started collecting things.
Yeah, okay.
So that took about at least 7, 8 years, you know.
7, 8 years?
Yeah, of collecting new old stock.
All right, and because you wanted to go down the authentic route, you didn't want to actually buy aftermarket, did you?
No, I wanted to get as many authentic as I could.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, when you look at door rubbers and that, you're going to have to use something else. Otherwise, you'll never drive the car. You eventually have to, you know, put something on it to get it going.
During the restoration process, what were some of the challenges?
Challenges were obviously people letting you down, or people promising you they're going to do certain things and they don't do them properly.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough. I was very lucky to meet a couple of interesting people along the way. One of them was Tony Santamaggio, he was just a tower of inspiration. Throughout the whole resto, there was a few times I was going to sell it because I just had enough of people. But Tony sort of kept it together for me.
Now, how do you keep it together for you?
He kept coming around, he kept talking to me, we'll do things this way, we'll do this way, you know. He would pick up, I'm very busy with work, he'd pick up half the stuff.
Oh, okay.
He'd organise other people to restore it, whether it was the stone, the steel. It was just a mountain of help.
Yeah, okay.
And then about a couple of years ago, we came across a gentleman at the car club, Jeff Matheson.
Yeah.
And his just knowledge when it comes to HK227s is second to none.
Yep.
He's just amazing.
All right, Jeff, g'day and welcome to Bumper to Bumper. How you going?
Good, thanks, Rusty. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good, mate. Pretty good. Now, we've got Arthur's car here, the HK327. Obviously, you've done a lot of the restoration or putting the car back together there. So what have you actually done with Arthur's car?
Arthur has been doing this for a long time, restoring this car.
Yeah.
He had it to a painted shell with a lot of bits, some of which had been restored, some of which hadn't. November 12 months ago, he needed to have it done.
Yep.
There was a timeline, and so I was asked to go onto the car full time and put it all together. So basically got it as a painted shell. A couple of other Monaro owner group club members and I and Arthur put the engine in it, so it was rolling.
Yep.
And the differential on the front end, and got it down to my place, and 4.5 months later, screwed all the bits on.
I basically gave him, when I got the car from the pedal shop, a shell. I gave him a shell, and he just put the whole thing together.
Yeah.
From motors, gearboxes, diffs, interiors, and he had an Excel spreadsheet that we had to have the car ready by February 2017.
Now, why is that?
That was my daughter's wedding. We had to have it ready at the wedding. And I remember we're all getting ready, and I had a few other cars there from the club, and we're all getting ready, and the car wasn't going to make it. Jeff goes, I'm not, and then halfway through the wedding he rocked up, so he was there for the photo shoot. He drove him to the actual reception centre. I was very, very pleased.
Yeah, and I'm sure your daughter would have been very happy as well.
She was very happy. It was funny how the car rocked up there. There were sun visors missing. There was a mirror missing, but it didn't matter. It made it to the wedding, and then it went back, and Jeff finished everything off. So a credit to the guy. I can't thank him enough for the day.
How do you know how to do that, getting it back to original?
Documentation for these cars is difficult.
Yes.
There's a lot of research involved. The GMH documentation, for whatever reason, is locked inside GMH.
Yeah.
Would be nice to get access to that, but there are some things in private hands, shop manuals, parts catalogues, that sort of thing.
Yeah, okay. So obviously you've got an automotive background though.
No, I'm an electrical engineer.
Oh, okay. Well, Arthur's saying that you're a bit of a guru on Monaro, so obviously you've been around them for quite a number of years though.
I've owned 5 cars in my life,
Yep.
and 4 of them were HK or HT or HG Monaros.
Yeah.
And the 5th is a Ford Territory, but we won't talk about that. So I've been playing with them. I bought my first one in 1978.
Yeah, okay.
So I had a little bit of a break from them for 20 years, and just got back into it now since I got a redundancy package 5 years ago. So I'll go back to playtime.
Oh, yeah, why not? And what a good play toy.
Oh yes, it's a privilege to work on a car.
Yeah.
Arthur's cut no corners. His instruction to me was do it as if it was yours.
Yep.
So he knows it wasn't going to get chopped and channeled and flared and things
Yeah.
hanging out the bonnet.
There's something about the Australian muscle car that takes people back to the 60s and 70s, and you can tell, they're always enjoying just having to look at it. Brings them back.
No, true, very true.
The cars, I think, tell a story. Every car tells a story. But when you consider the people that designed, conceived, manufactured this car, they knocked out, if you take Dandenong plant for example, they knocked out 250 HK Holdens a day.
Yeah.
Did that for 16 months.
Yeah.
The logistics, the number of people, just the work and the background that goes on. I think it's a tribute to those people to try and restore them as best we can.
Driveline, it's the 327. We got it all back to stock. It's the 4-speed Saginaw with a 10-bolt Salisbury diff on it, so everything on it is as correct as possible.
Yep. All right, Jeff. Well, I want to say you've done a fantastic job of putting this car back together for Arthur. It is a compliment to the workmanship that you've actually done, because it's an exceptional car. And I want to say thank you very much for being on Bumper to Bumper. Enjoy your day at the Victorian Hot Rod Show and Cool Rides.
Thanks, Rusty.
We've got a terrific car club, which I must mention.
Yes, you should.
Monaro Owners Group. It's been going now for about 10 years, just over 10 years. We're not a big club. We're about 40 to 50 members.
Yep.
We don't want it to get too big. And one of the criteria is you need to know someone in the club, and you must own a Monaro. I've been there for 3 years now as the president, and couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
All a nice bunch of blokes.
Fantastic, and it's always good to join a car club that is like-minded people to enjoy the not only the car but also the social side of thing that goes.
We don't just do club-run events. We do salami making days. We do a few other interesting things, So we get together there, and it's good. It's good.
All right, well, don't miss that one, folks. Salami making day at the Monaro Club. So, Arthur, I want to say thank you very much for being on Bumper to Bumper. It is a beautiful car, a credit to yourself, and I think you underestimate, and you didn't really tell people about your health issues, but you've come through it better and bigger, which is fantastic, and I wish you all the very, very best.
Thank you very much, Rusty.
All right,
Thank
cheers.
you.